Not all success arrives with applause. Some of it comes quietly, without announcements, without people noticing when it begins. It doesn't post updates. It doesn't demand validation. It doesn't rush to prove itself. Sometimes success looks like staying consistent when no one is watching. This is the story of a man whose life changed not because he became louder, but because he kept going quietly. Once upon a time, in a small countryside town where ambition was often measured by visibility, there lived a young man who rarely stood out. He was not the loudest in the room. He was not the most confident speaker. And he was never the one people expected great things from. But he was steady. Each morning he woke early and walked the same road to his modest place of work. The job was simple, honest, nothing glamorous. While others complained about being overlooked, he focused on learning every part of what he did. When people rushed, he slowed down. When others sought shortcuts, he chose patience. When recognition didn't come, he continued anyway. At first, he questioned himself. He watched others from his town leave and return with stories of quick wins and visible success. They spoke loudly about progress, about plans, about how far ahead they were. Meanwhile, his life looked unchanged. Same town, same routine, same quiet effort. There were days he wondered if he was falling behind. One evening, after a long day, he sat alone outside his home, listening to distant voices and laughter from elsewhere in the village. He felt the familiar weight of doubt. Was consistency enough? Was silence costing him opportunity? Was he invisible because he lacked ambition? But something inside him resisted rushing. Instead of chasing noise, he chose focus. He improved quietly, learned skills without announcing them, took on responsibility without demanding praise. When mistakes happened, he fixed them without pointing fingers. Over time, people began to trust him, not because he spoke the loudest, but because he delivered. Months passed, then years. Without fanfare, opportunities found him. Not dramatic ones, just small steps forward. More responsibility, more autonomy, more confidence in his ability. One day, he was asked to take on a role others had overlooked. It wasn't flashy, but it mattered, and he handled it with the same quiet care he had always shown. That was when things began to shift. People stopped questioning his presence, stopped underestimating him, stopped mistaking his silence for lack of vision. He didn't announce his progress. Others noticed it. Success came quietly, not as a sudden leap, but as a steady rise built on patience, discipline, and consistency. Years later, when someone asked how he had managed to build such a stable life without chasing attention, he smiled. There'd been no single moment, no loud breakthrough, no dramatic turning point. Just quiet effort repeated daily, and that had made all the difference. With time, he understood that success does not always arrive loudly or demand to be seen. Some of the most meaningful progress happens in silence, in the discipline to show up when no one is applauding, and the patience to keep going without reassurance. He learned that chasing noise can distract from growth, and that consistency, when practiced quietly, builds a foundation that attention alone never could. True success, he realized, does not announce itself early. It reveals itself over time, steady, grounded, and impossible to ignore.